Hey, I wanted to show you a quick and easy way to do a fun makeover. So I grabbed this table actually from a thrift store and I went ahead and did my usual prep. If you guys have been following me for any time at all, you know that I always wash everything first and then scuff sand it. This has a lot of detail in it, so really we didn't worry about it too much. Um, because I am using a clay paint, and clay paint dries hard as a rock. So I grabbed Dixie Belle's Terra paint, which is so fun. The colors are crazy awesome. The color I am using is Pistachio. I thought that this little table would be just the perfect amount of a pop of color in anybody's home. What a great entryway, hall table, sofa table. It's just so cute. So I'm just using my R14 brush, which is a Klingon, and just putting on my first coat. This stuff doesn't need any primer, it doesn't need anything. You just need to paint it on, seal it with a top coat or wax, and basically you are done. I loved all the detail on this pretty girl. Yeah, I could have painted it white and probably sold it within a day, but white is not my thing. So, as you can see, how it's lighter, that's because when clay-based paint dries, it does dry a lighter color. And I will do that with the second coat too. This is me applying a second coat until it is sealed. Once it is sealed, it comes right back to its original vibrance, like when it's wet. So just remember, you do have to seal the clay-based paints because they are not self-sealing. The clay-based paints are DIY paint, the Terra line. There's another line called Mud Paint. I do retail those three. They're quite the amazing paint. I'm going to take a piece of 220 sandpaper and I am just going to remove some of the paint so that those details really do show through and shine through. So I'm just kind of lightly going over it with my sandpaper, just over the high edges, so that it just really gives it a fun, kind of a shabby chic look. When you are sanding, you will get a lot of fine dust. You see all that dust that's on the top of the table? Because it is a clay-based paint. It's kind of like dirt, right? So when a mud puddle dries, you have that silty kind of dirt. It's the same thing. So it's very messy, and you just take a microfiber and wipe it off, but it will wash right off your hands. Just remember, it must be sealed. Now, my sealer of preference is a wax, and I am using, it gets all over the place, DIY's clear wax. Do you see how dark it is now? The clear wax comes back and it brings out the original color. So the paint will dry 2 to 3 shades lighter. Just be aware of that when you're using clay-based paints. It kind of throws people for a loop every once in a while, that they're like, what the heck? Why is it doing that? Yeah, it's hard to get used to, but once you do, it is phenomenal. I love clay-based paints just as much as I love chalk-based paints. They are super fun to blend with. Now, the funny thing about this one is I didn't have to do any blending, because by lightly sanding over those high points, I really got what I wanted, right? I got that cool finish with, you can see the wood shining through right now, which just gives it another dimension, another element on this piece. Super fun, just a clear wax. I will take a rag or a buffer and lightly buff off any excess wax, but just keep in mind, you don't have to put a ton of wax on a piece of furniture to seal it. Once I do this, it will be about 30 days and this paint will be hard as a rock. The sealer takes about 30 days to cure. I decided to go in, since this had so many nooks and crooks and valleys, and take DIY's dark wax. Dark wax looks like black going on, but it's actually a super dark espresso brown color. I'm just really loading it into the corners and crevices, because the cool thing about using a dark wax is you can remove it and it won't be this dark, but what it'll do is leave a highlight of a dark shadow in among those cracks and crevices, which really gives your piece that 3 dimension and makes it pop. So I'm going to do this. I am remember, I clear wax first. If I would have done this first, I would have never been able to wipe it off. So you always clear wax before you put a colored wax down. That's the rule of thumb. I'm going to then take my microfiber cloth and I'm just going to wipe it back. What that's going to do is to bring back the dark wax so it's not so dark, but it's going to leave it in the recesses, the nooks, the crannies, the little recesses, and it's going to give it a smashing, awesome dimension, right? So do you see how that gives it that highlight now with the little bit of distressing that we did on the wood? So be sure to really push that wax down into any nooks, crannies, little valleys that you have, corners. It's the best thing to do. When you put it on, don't be afraid because you can wipe it back off. The only time you can't wipe it off is you make a mistake and you put it right over your paint. It's really hard to wipe off then. So, rule of thumb, paint, 2 coats, lightly sand, smooth out your finish, wax with clear wax, and then add your colored waxes. The clear wax acts as a barrier and it helps you to remove the excess because you wouldn't want to leave it like this. It just looks like mud. But now it gives it that depth that it really needed to have. This is really a fun piece to transform. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was just a quick one. And this literally didn't take me any time at all to transform. And you went from this blah blah thrift store table to this va-va-voom piece of art that you can put in your house and give yourself that statement. If you guys like my videos, please subscribe. I also have Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and a website to buy all of your products on. So my name's Debbie Tona, and you guys go out and be fabulous. And thank you once again for watching my videos from Tona Transformations. Thank you very much.